Hello and welcome to the channel. With Purdey's build nearing its conclusion, we still have a few things to do, but we're getting there. We thought that we ought to stock up on the next project. So some people have said this is a complete disaster. Other people said it might be okay. So to start off this week's video, join us on our road trip to pick up the next project. Okay, we've got an early morning start this morning with the car trailer to go off on a little journey to collect the car. So we're travelling approximately 400 kilometres, mostly east, to pick up a little potential bargain found on Facebook Marketplace. We hope it's still there because it's been abandoned for about 3 weeks, so let's see what we find. It's here, which is good.
What I'm not seeing is the cap.
Oh yeah, just kind of need that, don't you? Surely there should be a cover on this engine.
Yeah, probably.
The car was abandoned because it keeps chucking all its water out, which suggests that it's got a blown head gasket. So we fill it up and see if it will start. It turns over, which I suppose is a start.
I think it's time to get the diagnostic.
Sometime later, we actually get her running with help from the jump pack, which makes getting her onto the trailer a lot easier than having to winch her on. Bit of a disco sandwich here. After only running for a few minutes, it's perfectly obvious why the car was abandoned. I don't think that's supposed to be doing that. Well, she's on. She's a big old beast. It's not too bad. There's a proper rusty bit under there.
Yeah.
And that sill is...
Does need some attention.
yeah. We just stopped to get a sandwich and a drink, have a pee at this little air, walking back towards the car now. So we decided that this one's called Dolly. Might be Dolly Pran because we might need pain relief. Just looking underneath at the back, it looks a bit rusty, but hopefully that's just surface rust. Spare wheel carrier's missing. Quite know what's gone on there. Don't think she's had a lot of love, so we need to give her some love and see how we go. After a long journey back, taking it easy with a heavy load on, we arrive home safely with the cargo. Looks like Dolly's being aired. She wasn't that smelly. Oh yeah, the struts don't work on the back. So Chris's number one priority today is to get rid of the stupid LED light bar things, which wasn't even on straight and was really annoying. There's just some class wiring holding on these awful little LED things. This one wasn't even attached, that's just hanging. This one is attached with cable ties. Now we have to get her off. She's got brakes, which is good. Snap back down again. And while the rain pours down outside, we go off to work out whether it's actually worth fixing her or whether she becomes parts. To be continued. Dolly will have to wait a little bit longer until we get to start work on her, because we need to go back to getting Purdey ready for her scrutineering for Dakar. This morning, we're getting this fuel tank properly connected, the filler side of it anyway. So that hose is all now in place down to the tank, obviously looking at this from underneath. So now what we need to do is get some actual fuel in there, make sure that the gauge is working. So we need to find out how much fuel is left in the second tank when the low fuel light comes on. So at the moment there's nothing in there. So we're now going to put some fuel in and see when the low fuel light goes out. And to make sure that we can work that out sort of precisely, we've got the fuel in this can. So we know there's 4 litres of fuel in there. And then we're going to put it in and see what happens. So the blue light here, that's the low fuel warning for the second tank, is on at the moment. So we're at 4 litres and the light is still on. Good news is though, that there doesn't appear to be any leaks. So that's good. We're now on the second 4 litre can. Keeping an eye on this blue light.
Has the gauge moved at all?
Well, that's just what I'm looking. The gauge, yeah, it's, well, probably should have looked at it better before we started, but it's into the red. Okay, we're now on our third 4 litre. Oh, stop. So the light's just gone out, and we know because we've measured it that we've put in 9.5 litres. So we'll say 10 litres is the residual amount in the tank when the low fuel light comes on. So for all you nerds that like to quote stuff like that, you now know. So clever, that pop out thing.
Yeah.
Now we've got fuel in Purdey's second tank. I need to know how long it takes to transfer from the front tank to the back tank. So what we're going to do, Chris hasn't connected up the pipe that goes to the back tank yet. I'm going to get into the car and put the pump on, and instead of it going to the back tank, it's going to go into a can. And so we can see how long it takes to pump 4 litres backwards. And then when we know that the main tank's getting low, we'll know how long it takes to fill up. So this is the pipe coming along from the second tank. We'll obviously go into the main tank eventually, but at the moment it's going into the can. So I'm in Purdey and we've got this switch that we put in before. This is the switch that's going to start the pump in the second tank to go back to the main tank. So are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, going on now. I can hear that whirring. And Chris is waiting for the fuel to come through.
Coming through.
There's definitely fuel coming through. So it's coming through quicker than I thought actually then. Chris has got the timer on. And how many litres are we going to?
4 litres.
I'm going to do 4 litres, okay.
1.5 so far.
So I've just got to be ready to turn this off when he says stop, and then we'll see how long that is on the timer.
2 litres.
2 litres, so we're halfway to our goal, and I reckon that's just taken over a minute. Just a bit, thereabouts.
Coming up. Stand by. And stop.
Okay, so we've now got 4 litres in that can. And how long did that take?
1.5 minutes.
1.5 minutes. That's pretty quick. We're pretty pleased with our second tank setup. So now we just need to put that pipe into the main tank. And it's all good to go. Another job. So for Purdey, we've been recommended to have a cover for the fuel filter, which is by the back wheel and therefore a little bit exposed. So it comes in 2 parts. The top part we've painted red, the bottom part goes onto the chassis, and it should all fit together. However, when you put these little lugs, locating lugs through here, it then doesn't line up on this side with the locating lugs. So if you put the locating lugs right on this side, this one doesn't actually come through. So a bit of modification needed there. Next thing we have to do for the fuel system is to modify this cover for the fuel filter, which doesn't fit properly. So that involves drilling some new holes. And with the holes drilled correctly, the fuel filter cover is now fitted. We don't want to be losing our fuel cap, so we've got a little retaining strap to keep it on. We've still got to work out what we do in there to lock it though. Okay, the second fuel tank may all be connected, but this filler neck needs to have a cowl around it, a bit similar to this one. So what we need to do is make a template for the shape of this profile so that that can be cut, and then we've got to work out the angle that comes down here as well. So to do that, I've got a square held up by a can or something, and we've sort of drawn out a profile, which I'm now going to cut out and see if it fits. And this is paper profile template number 1. It's not too bad, but I've got this measurement here slightly wrong, so I need to do a little bit of modification on that. Okay, so this is attempt, I don't know what number we're on now, several, to try and get this right. It's not easy. The trouble is, wherever we put it, it's slightly different. I think that looks sort of right. So we're doing the best here with paper aided design. It's not even really card. So I've got this shape. Obviously it doesn't go here, it goes back here. around this filler neck because we need to make that effectively outside of the cabin. So how this kind of works is there's a front and a back, and then a piece that goes over the top so that it becomes a solid thing. Now what I need to do now is go and see the guys at the metal workshop to see if they can make this perhaps in one piece and then bend it, because I think it would be stronger that way, but then it's quite a complicated thing to cut. So I don't know, that's the best I can do with the paper, and we'll go tomorrow to Thomas and see what he says. Unfortunately, when I went up to the metalworking shop, the guy that I need to speak to wasn't there. So as we finish this week, we still don't know how that's going to work out. That will be obviously addressed on the next video. So for now, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you've already done so, and if you haven't, do try and do that so that you find out everything that we're doing in the run up to Dakar. Please give us a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time.